Welcome to the Brewtiful Game. As always, I am Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
And Ron.
What's happening?
And it's our ho, 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 happy holiday special as we have taken a little hiatus to get back in before we
Papa
record.
Claus over here.
That's right. The new little baby just born and added, so we'll see if we hear her cry and get on the podcast for the first time tonight. I hope for the sake of my wife that she does not.
She looked tired, both of them. Yes.
We've got Premier League stuff to talk about. Ron's been all over the world, but he's actually here now.
I know, craziness.
Which is,
I know
that's actually been a bit since we've all three been in the studio.
Yeah. Was on a whirlwind beer tour yesterday. That was fun.
Yeah, went all the way back to Florida on a whirlwind beer tour. And we've got, well, because we didn't get to, because all this kind of happened right after the MLS was wrapping up. So we should, talk a little bit about the wrap-up of MLS as well. But first things first.
Uh-oh.
Before we get to the beer.
Ooh, before the beer.
Right. It's New Daddy Drink.
Uh-oh.
What do we got here? Some like applesauce and
No.
no?
This
Tomato
is a wee
puree.
bit Ardbeg from the Isla single malt Scotch whiskey from the island of Isla in Scotland.
nice.
I wanted something because when you don't have a new baby in the house, so you sleep like a couple hours at a time, and you're like, man, I just like want to drink, but a beer sounds like too long to drink because you might fall asleep during the middle of it.
Right.
I was like, I should go get a really nice bottle of Scotch and have this with the boys. So
I like Scotch.
So here we go. A little 10-year-old. I like this one because it's not smooth. It smells like dirt.
Good peaty.
Welcome back to the pod, us.
It smells like dirt, and I'm excited to share it with you guys. I think Ron has had this before, but I don't think Ferris has.
I don't believe I have.
I am going to take
and I'm just
going
to pour a wee dram. Don't worry.
This will pair nice with
Oh, yeah.
the beer that I have. Yeah.
Get a video of Ferris because if you've never had this kind of peaty Scotch,
Ferris, you have to look over here when you drink it.
this is going to rock your world, buddy.
Trying to work the old
There you go.
Instagram.
And I've got my sweet.
It smells like Bigfoot stuff. Sorry, this word opened up just straight from Anchorman there. I didn't mean to.
Can I ask your frame of reference?
I had Anchorman. I don't know why I decided to go that route. I just.
But you had Anchorman. Scotch.
That's exactly where I went for it.
All right. Well, I don't want to take up too much time because I know you have got the beer pick, and I want to get to that. But first, I was going to share a little New Dad Scotch with you guys.
Congratulations.
Cheers, guys.
Congrats, man.
Boom. Ooh, smell that peat moss, that Ardbeg from the Isla. Ooh. Smells like.
Don't drink it yet.
Yeah,
I
I'm not gonna
screwed
say it
up.
again.
Yeah. Let him.
Screwed up.
Let's get the video of that.
I
Oh man,
haven't
this
had it
Scotch, if you've ever had it, the Isle of Isla, it's so peaty that you step on the island, it smells like peat bogs
It
and
really
moss.
does.
It smells like Pete's foot.
Yeah, well, Pete's got a delicious foot.
All right.
All right, here we go.
Bottoms up. Ferris doesn't know what
This
to
is
think.
entirely disappointing.
That's actually that's pretty smooth. Was I supposed to do it?
It's pretty. No,
Okay.
good. I mean, I'm gonna have a couple of
He
sips.
didn't.
Off of
He
it.
hid his face behind the microphone the
Yeah,
entire
yeah,
time.
Yeah.
It's not as like salty as like a
No.
Lefroy. I love this Ardbeg.
It
Smells like winter.
it's very smooth.
You could smell the peat moss in the wintertime.
It smells
Yeah.
god awful, but
Oh, that's not god awful. That's
That's
gorgeous.
amazing. And when
At a
you're
fireplace, I'd throw a peat bog log in there, man.
when you are hiking around Scotland, when you get into the peat bog area, people use it to heat their home, and you smell it for miles. It is an amazing smell while you're hiking.
And there's a guy in North Carolina from Ireland who's got a cool company called Sneaky Pete, and he smokes Carolina barbecue over peat bricks. Wow. It's awesome. And as he's doing it, he has a bottle of Irish whiskey because he says it's the light whiskey in a spray bottle that he based the pork butt the whole
That's
time.
awesome.
It's awesome. All right. Well, there we go. All right, Ferris. Now, for those of you who are new to the show, you just found out that there was a kid situation that just occurred. And you're like, well, what are these guys about? We talk a little because we've had about a 3-week hiatus,
Yeah,
something like that. And so, yeah, it's all about craft beer introductions, rolling into talking a little soccer. So, Ferris, you got the craft beer pick of the week. So let's have at it.
I do have the craft beer pick of the. I talk really away from my mic.
Yeah, that was great.
I
Great
literally walked.
technique. I'm glad I set you up with a good introduction so you could literally talk like on the microphone on the way back.
Hey, man, it's been 37 weeks. Yeah, I don't know. All right. So I know there was a lot of people online saying, "Oh, Blake just wanted to wait until it was the Christmas time for this."
Because I hashtag like Christmas beers.
Yes, exactly. So, but I did come through with Christmas beer. It is a repeat brewery, but a beer that we have not had before.
Interesting.
It's Ferris. Is it local Floridian?
It is not.
Oh, that's a surprise.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And again, any guesses on the repeat brewery? I believe it's
Bell's Brewery?
no good guess though.
Can I have a region of the country?
West Coast.
West Coast.
21st Amendment.
Yeah, that's
Bingo.
exactly where I was heading.
Yep. San Francisco, to be exact.
That was, by the way, that was the first Christmas Vacation
Yes,
reference.
it was very well done.
Oh, there's probably a lot of Christmas Vacation references
Sorry,
in this
we're going to
episode.
apologize right now.
Bingo.
21st Amendment. It was actually the first beer that when I walked into the establishment, I was just like, oh, I haven't seen. Oh, that's it. That's the beer on the pod for tomorrow. It is a winter spiced ale. It is called Fireside Chat.
Awesome.
Little LBJ
Little LBG
drawn on the box art.
or FDRs.
Or not LBJ,
I was gonna
FDR.
say,
FDRs.
Fireside chats were not
I don't
LBJ.
know why I had LBJ in my head. You know why? It's because he said smell Bigfoot's and LBJ had a legendary large.
What?
He did,
He
actually.
did. Look it up. Google it. Google it. Google it.
I'm not Googling that
Google
right now. Lord only
LBJ's
knows what will pop up on me.
Please, Ferris, I can't wait to see your search results.
No, I don't know.
LBJ's.
Oh my God.
Well, this pod went south quick.
Real.
Thank
yeah.
We're all getting coal in the stockings.
God almighty.
We're up to
so
like
many
5 or
wastes
6
in this.
beeps out at this point.
Oh.
It really is why I had LBJ in my head, though. If you guys don't know, the podcast Time Suck,
Yes.
comedian Dan Cummings finds weird things from history. One of them is about LBJ and his situation. And
And
it's,
his member.
and it's very funny. Okay. So anyway,
We
on
just,
the
hijacked
FDR.
we just hijacked your LBJ chat.
No, FDR chat.
I know.
For the Fireside Chat, which we do know history, and those are things that FDR did.
Yes.
Radio addresses.
So, like FDR's Depression era radio address, which
Sorry, it's almost blue scotch everywhere out of my nose. Okay, go ahead.
we're not going to go over 21st Amendment. We already know that brewery.
Yeah, out in San Francisco, some
yes,
cool dudes.
Awesome brewery. 21stamendment.com. Like FDR's Depression era radio addresses, which were like a kick in the butt and a hug at the same time, our Fireside Chat is a subdie twist on the traditional seasonal brew. We begin with a rich, dark English-style ale, and then we improvise with spices until we know we have a beer worth sharing with the nation. Fireside Chat is our early winter seasonal brew available from October through December in 6-pack cans and on draft. Brewed like a classic, warming, strong ale, but with a subdie blend of hand-selected spices for just the right festive flair.
And for, I think, Mr. Matt, that hit me up on Twitter saying, Blake just want to do the Christmas beers. And I said, I may have brought one to add to this in case we need more. Ferris, that is the 6-pack that is in my fridge that I was like, ooh.
This is exactly, you had this exact same one?
Awesome.
Yep, that was going to be, I was like,
That would have been awesome.
That's hysterical, right? But that's what's sitting in the fridge. And I was like, oh, I wonder if I should add this to the show. Then you start talking. I was like, oh, yep, there you go.
And
Same
I even
line.
sent you a text last night. I was like, if I can't get home to grab the beer, you're going to be on deck.
Right.
And
So-
was this the beer you had on deck?
Would have been the same beer. Great
Awesome.
minds
Great
think
minds
alike.
think alike.
And then there's Yas.
And the cool thing about the 21st Amendment Brewery, if you don't know it, is they're one of the first. Them and Oscar Blues Brewery were the big like craft beer in can. When you first saw it, you're like, why is it in a can? Craft beer's only in bottle. But they were the guys that kicked off in a really strong way. And they have really cool can art and
yes,
box
they
art.
do. Really cool can and
Like,
box art.
I almost want to say like it's like FDR drawn like a. I don't want to say like a comic book, but like a very realistic comic book, the way that it's like drawn.
Yes, and he's sitting. He's sitting in this old style chair with a
Like
nice
little-
brown suit with looks like a beer in his hand and one of the long. What is like the long?
Oh, the long cigarette that he would get with the holder, the cigarette holder. Yeah.
But the best thing is he's talking to an elf sitting in the chair across from him.
Yeah, by the fireside. I love it. That's so great.
It's not every day. What?
Winter spiced
Right
ale.
there. Look.
Yeah.
Ooh, am I repeating
happen
you
every
when
day.
I say this? That's a 7.9% alcohol by volume.
That is 45 on the IBUS. Yeast is ale yeast. Spices and cocoa nibs. Color deep ruby brown. Hops Magnum and Goldings. Malts pale Munich wheat crystal aromatic chocolate malt and debittered black.
I'm excited. It's Christmas time. Christmas time is here. Time to drink the beer.
And our content.
Don't have anywhere else to go, but it's a preview for this musical show. Bam! Because Ferris, we might have a little Christmas caroling action with our Premier League discussion today.
With the three jackasses.
Not the three wise men.
Wise asses.
Wise asses, there you
The
go.
three
There
wise
we go.
asses.
That was perfect. I'm proud of my song. That was improv and I did not think about that as a segue. Booyah! All right, gents. We ready to try this here, burr?
That's our bear.
Yeah, I'm going to add to our story while we do this.
All right, you guys.
I'm trying.
You guys ready? Let's do this. Because we are like an audible medium, so we should pick up the pace.
You serious, Clark?
I'm serious. And I always like saying this with the 21st Amendment. That's the sound of our can cracking open at the beginning of our shows from the first beer on our show
yes,
ever.
It was
21st Amendment, live free or brew free or die IPA. Yep. Man, that smells good. I'm always torn when the artwork is so good. I almost feel bad having it out of a glass instead of the can. But
First one I'm going to have out of the glass. And the second one I'm going to do out of the can.
Yeah, I'm going out of the glass.
All right, here we go.
Ooh, that was good sound, Blake.
I was a Foley artist in my other life. This beer,
A lot of head.
lot of head, a lot of sap, looks beautiful. I mean, there are some good Christmas beers, IPAs and things like that. But when you get a good Christmas beer, this is the color in my head. That's the Christmas beer.
Yes.
The like dark red. It's to call it brown's not right. It's like dark amber. Like, oh man, Christmas. I love it. Christmas beers.
So
I gotta go get me a bunch of Christmas beers. The only bad thing is if we do our Boxing Day special with a bunch of Christmas beers and Ron's not here, it's just you and me, Ferris.
you guys are going to be wasted.
All right.
This podcast, soccer's a mirror, so that's exactly what's going to happen.
Exactly.
We're going to watch some soccer and
All right, gents, let's try this 21st Amendment Brewery Fireside Chat.
launch it, boys.
Ooh, that's a complex beer right there.
I love the term Fireside Chat because this evokes the beer. Like in the picture, it's like FDR on the art they've got is holding like a brandy snifter or something like that. But this is the kind of beer that you could pour in a chalice glass, let it warm up, chill out, and talk by the fire. Like it's got that vibe.
I bet as it warms up, it's going to open up too.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is one that even on a cold day up north would be just right.
It's a very, very dark, like amber.
It's like if you took
amber tint, maybe?
Guinness and you dialed it back 20%, like because it's dark.
And it's the head retention is really good.
Woohoo! Hey, we got it in.
And
After we started the pod that way, yeah, seriously.
All right, to those of you listening, we literally only had like 2 sips of scotch before we had this beer. This is ridiculous.
Oh my God.
I don't know what's wrong
had
with
one
this
sip.
episode.
I think we're all punchy because we've had 3 weeks off, so we're all pent up.
Yeah, guys, and I have had no sleep. Hashtag new parents, no sleep. That's how that works. Just in case anybody was wondering, on my other pod, no sleep for you.com. Because we had to launch another pod every episode.
Why do we add a .com to that one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Just wondering.
Because I saw the college bowls just got announced. You know, you got the Furniture
Oh,
Gallery,
God.
FurnitureGallery.com bowl and whatever else.
Yeah,
It's like,
Furniture Gallery. This is the best. Oh,
I
what's
only,
the chicken
I
one?
only say
Oh,
FurnitureGallery.com
gosh. They're
because
ridiculous now.
my university played Marshall in that years ago, East Carolina University, and it was like it broke a record. They both scored like 60 or 70 points. It was stupid. Yeah, you're right. It was like the something chicken farm bowl.
Yes.
We were like, what is it after watching Premier
So
League on
crazy.
the weekend? Yeah. Oh, geez.
Man, could you imagine like Oklahoma State in the Chicken Bowl?
Well,
Like,
I don't
how
think
could
we have
you-
to imagine. I mean, I don't know that's the right team.
What
But
if they? I mean, they kind of do that for soccer. What if they did that like the Texaco Tostitos Cup?
instead of the cup, Cabo Cup,
The
Chupacabra Cup.
Chupacabra
I
Cup.
can never say it right. What's the name of the cup?
Caribou or Carabao?
Oh yeah,
I
because
don't know.
Arsenal's
Right.
under 19 team won against West Ham today.
They did win today. Didn't they? Yeah.
I joke. It was like the under 19 team along with Kolasinac.
Kolasinac.
Like that's who was there. 'Cause I was like every time they'd sub someone, I was like, who?
What?
Who's that? All right.
We play tomorrow.
Yeah,
who we
for
play.
the Chupacabra Cup.
Chupacabra Cup, which we won last year. It wasn't called that. It was called
No, it was called
Capital One.
No, I think it was
what called
Chupacabra
year?
last year's Capital
No.
One Cup before that.
Yeah, exactly. What?
It was the I don't know.
It was
I
the
can't-
EFL Cup last
EFL
year.
Cup. Then
yeah.
it got a sponsor.
Yeah.
But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a little Premier League match week 18.
Dun, dun, dun.
And each
There's
match
been a lot of games since we've been off because we ended on match
All
week
those-
13th. And
all
we're on
those
match week
midweek
18.
games.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Well, it wasn't match. Well, it's incorrect. I guess say match week.
It was match.
It was
day.
match day because there were so many games that it's now we're up to
True.
18. It was just every time I would like be at work and I would hear someone listening. So I go, oh my gosh, that's right. There's like another match on
Yeah.
right now, all throughout the week. So we're gonna go down to match day 18. And Ferris, our master of headlines,
This is brilliant.
he creates the content and he wrote some Christmas carols as headlines for each of the matches.
And I think
apologize ahead
I
of
think
time.
we should try and sing them.
Oh, it's gonna happen. Oh wow.
Who's singing the first one?
Yeah,
Like, I'll do it.
everybody's just jumping. I think you just make it happen. So first matchup, Leicester at home, embarrassingly, falls to Crystal Palace 3-0. Oh, Crystal P. Oh, Crystal P. Thy goals are now flowing.
I don't know.
No one knows the actual melody. That's great. That was awful. That's awesome.
Sorry about your ears, everyone.
Apologize, just the entire
I
pod.
wonder if I can throw some auto tune on all these when we're done.
What the hell happened to Palace in the 5 match weeks that we've missed?
Not 5 now. They're up to 7 unbeaten. I believe
They're up to I think 7 unbeaten right now, and guess where they're at right now in the table?
Above the relegation zone.
In 14th right now.
Yeah.
Only by 2 points, but still, they were bottom.
Well,
How bottom were they?
Bottom.
the important thing is too that starts to cut down. They still got the big goal differential, but this starts to cut that down more. This gets them in a goal differential not as bad as West Ham.
And against a Leicester team who hasn't been that bad as of late either.
No, they've been in
Right.
Yeah.
They're up in 8th right now. And you got Benteke scored, I think, last week or midweek. I think he scored his first one. He missed a penalty earlier in one of the 3 midweek games or something. And he scored in this. Zaha, who is easily, by far, their best player that they have.
Yeah.
They are
I
a
agree.
different team when he's on the pitch. He creates so much. He created in this game, Morgan and Danny Sim and all like the back line of they're just seeing Zaha for days because all he did was just run all over them and just cause tons of havoc. He's quick, he's skillful, he's smart, he knows what to do, and he takes chances. You don't really in a team that's going to be fighting to stay up. You need somebody that's going to take some chances and have a little bit of just desire and heart and just
Yeah,
go
but
after
if
it.
they
And if
keep
you make a mistake,
playing,
you make a mistake.
If they keep playing like this, they're not going to be
Right.
fighting to stay up. They'll be fine.
And they are a different team when he's not on the field. And he wasn't on the field for, I think, the first 6 or 7 games this year under De Boer. Who knows what De Boer could have done with somebody like Zaha?
Apparently, he chose to do nothing, and that's why he's not there anymore.
Evidently. And then
Leicester just, their defense they were carved open so many times. The score should have actually been a little higher. It should have probably been about 5-0 because there were so many one on the keeper that it was just ridiculous. Leicester looked like their back line didn't even show up.
Kasper Schmeichel made some awesome saves in this game, too.
He's one of the reasons the scoreline was not worse.
Yeah. And Grandpa Roy. Who would have thunk? I mean, there's still a long way to go. They're, like I said, they're only two points above the bottom three right now. So still a long way to go. It's very tight. They're going to have to just pick up games when they can. But as long as they have Zaha in that team, they stand a chance.
Well, I'd say more than a chance.
Yeah, I think
they look better than the teams below them when they're on like.
And also, I think Zaha makes Sacco play better, and I think he is really good for Benteke as well.
Agreed. Because Benteke has somebody to feed him the ball.
Correct. And if Benteke can check his ego, everything will be fine. Like, was it last week when he decided he's going to take that PK and push the teams have standard people they want to take the PK. And Benteke decides, I'm going to take it and pushes
Mihalovic, or it's
yeah, he pulled somebody off of it and then completely just terribly took that penalty and missed it. So if he can put his ego aside, he'll do really well.
And you mentioned Sacco. They're playing him very well. They're bringing him off the bench, and
Smart.
He keeps adding a little bit of a spark in the second half when they need that little bit extra. But
I don't think he's a 90-minute player at the moment, to be honest.
Which is fine.
Right.
You have people that made their careers that way. Carlos Tevez, when he played for Manchester United before he went to City, he made his name off of coming in late and scoring goals. So that's what Sacco's doing. Roy is also, he has them playing defense. He has them playing defense first and holding down the midfield with Cabai, and then they can play out from there. He just came in, shored up the back line a bit, has a little bit of a midfield presence now, and that has allowed Townsend and Zaha and Sacco and the attacking to do their thing.
Right.
It's so simple, but that's why sometimes you bring in the typical English managers that have been in the league, because like the Big Sams, like the Roy Hodgson, they understand the league and they understand what it kind of takes just to get some points and then slowly start to climb back up.
Yeah, I agree.
What it takes to survive.
Yes.
Right.
You know,
anti-relegation strategy.
Yep. I think that's.
I just trademarked that.
And
ARS.
And of course, this match has something in common with the next match, because of course, this match, Crystal Palace is coached by the fourth Doctor, Tom Baker from Doctor Who, and the next match, you have Arsenal, who's coached by the 12th Doctor, Peter Capaldi. Seriously, Roy Hodgson was being interviewed on TV. I looked at Ron, I was like, is that Tom Baker from Doctor Who back
Totally
in the
looks
70s? Like, if you look at Tom Baker now,
right,
he could play Roy Hodgson absolutely. There we go. Got and nerd references in. Tom Baker.
Tom Baker.
Doctor Who, fourth Doctor from Doctor Who. Okay. Your nerd references have dropped in. I got a Doctor Who in before Star Wars happened. That's pretty good.
You serious, Clark?
So we've got Arsenal at home against Newcastle. I mean, one of the best goals Ozil scored in a long time. One of the best looking goals in the Emirates.
Backing up off the volley, off a really highly placed header. Like header rebound, kind of.
Ozil, all faithful, joyful and triumphant.
That was the headline.
That's our Christmas carol for that. That was great. I'm glad you took that solo. Silly, faithful. Oh my gosh,
I'm stressed on some of these.
It's so good. It's so bad. It's good.
God bless.
And to all a good night.
Newcastle actually gave them a bit of a fit points, but they just couldn't get through to Arsenal. They just couldn't make it happen.
And Ozil's goal in this game, I think of beauty and class. That's the type of player that Arsenal needs on a consistent basis every game from him. He took this ball just perfectly, and he struck it so clean. Goalie didn't stand a chance. It was placed off the volley, just a swing of the foot, perfect trajectory. Like, this is the type of world-class player that he can be. You forget that when
This
he
is
signed...
German national team, Ozil.
This is German national team, World Cup winning German national team, Real Madrid Champions League winning Ozil. This is what you want to see. Now, is he doing this because he wants to move away and he's in the last year of his contract?
Who knows? Whatever his motivation is, it doesn't matter.
But he is inconsistent. I mean, you hate to go and sit there and go, that was amazing, and he had a great game, and then followed up with, man, why is it not more often like that? Not necessarily goals like that, but just when he's on, he's fantastic. And then when he's off, he just kind of disappears.
Right. It's quiet, yeah.
Yeah, it just fades away.
Well, hopefully he plays this way come January when he signs for Manchester United.
Yeah, well, that won't happen.
That's the talks right now.
Yeah, it's the talks. That's not going to happen in January. That's not going to happen. End of year, maybe.
I don't think so.
We'll make a bet.
Not going to happen in January.
I think it'll happen in the summer if it's going to happen to Man United.
I think him and Sanchez.
I disagree, because in the summer, he leaves for free 50-free. January, Arsenal can make some cash out. If they're already going to be out of the top spots there, who knows?
We'll see. Only time will tell.
Yeah.
If Ozil keep playing like this, they'd be securely in the top four.
Well, they can also sell him for more.
No, this is true. And it's true. And they got to make plans. They got to make replacement plans. Especially since today, Olivier Giroud, as one, I think it was Gunner Blog, was like, well, I could hear his hamstring pop from here. He went down with what looked to be a rough hamstring injury. We'll see what.
The lumbersexual does not go down that way.
Well, phrasing, Clark. I did not see footage of it. I just read the recap of the match from the Chupacabra Cup today. Yeah, and it was supposedly bad, and he came off, so he won't be in the next match for sure. I don't know if they've put a status out yet on what's up with Giroud, which stinks because Giroud's that guy you put in the second half that has an impact, can get that extra goal, and he's been the difference in more than a few games between getting a point or three or none. So
and Arsenal has played quite well in a lot of their matches as of late. They have a couple of losses in there. The possibly the game of the year, which was 2 or 3 games ago, Manchester United versus Arsenal,
which we didn't get to watch together. That's lame.
No, we didn't. I was at work. But I got to watch it with another Arsenal fan, Phil, who we enjoyed it in the office, and there was a lot of cursing early on from him. Behind closed doors, it wasn't, and then a lot of hoorays from me. And then he actually was like,
I'm not mad at that game.
Exactly. He was we lost, but
was going to get past De Gea in that game.
De Gea was a god in that game.
I was sitting there watching, I was like, I can't even be mad. Arsenal's creating chances and playing well against Man United. But because they did get past that back line frequently to test day, it didn't matter. That was yeah. I wish we could have watched it together, but that was like I really hate to sit here and watch my club lose that I root for. However, I'm watching one of the finest. Yeah. He tied record for saves Premier League in that match. I think it was.
Did he tie it or did he beat it?
I feel like it was a tie, 14 or 15 in a game. But it was like just
14 saves or something like that.
14 saves, yeah. It was crazy. It was one of those games. Nothing was getting past him. Not like that at Newcastle. I was a little surprised with the Arsenal-Newcastle match that Arsenal scored quick, because that's been Newcastle's thing in the last few matches, is to get a quick goal early on.
And then try and lock down. And
make the club sweat for it. So that was. I always like an Arsenal 1-0 win, because it's rare.
It is very
We
rare.
either
and-
kind of run over a club or it's like a 3-2 or something. Do you know what I mean? So to get one early, I should clarify, not a 1-0 win where the first half delivers the goal is a rare thing for Arsenal.
Yeah, it's weird, and their results kind of show that. Like the game before that, they beat Huddersfield 5-0, and then I was wrong. They drew against Southampton 1-1, and they drew against West Ham 0-0, and then they beat Newcastle 1-0. But again, I mean, you do want to see them win the 1-0s because that's something that they're not really used to, and something that they need to do if they want to just go higher up the table and just get points.
I was way more mad about getting 1 point from West Ham than getting 0 points from playing Man U. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
Can we also talk about how lame Arsenal looks in the blue uniform? Sorry.
Looks odd.
It
Yeah.
looks so
I much
lame.
prefer the black one with like that like pink almost salmon thing more than I do the blue.
And it's weird because they're kind of two-tone. They're like light blue fades to dark
I just
blue.
don't like when a red club Man U's got a blue. I don't like
do
when a
have a blue
red club
kit,
does
yeah.
a blue or a blue club does a red.
We had a blue kit.
I don't like that. Actually, you rarely see a blue club do a red alternate kit.
Yeah, you don't see that very
It'll be
often.
like you got like Man City's like maroon thing or whatever.
Well, the game that we're going to go to next, Brighton, a good blue-white striped kit, but they have an awesome third kit. It's all black with this like neon on it.
Yeah.
But you're right. You don't really see them go
Blue doesn't go
red
red,
at all.
but a red will do a weird blue alternate thing. I don't know. Not a fan. I miss the old the yellow one from last year with the collar. Was that
Oh,
last
yeah.
year? Yeah, it was
Yeah.
last year. I like that
Yeah.
one.
They do
This
have some nice kits over the time.
Mhm.
But as you said, moving on to Brighton, Hove, and Albion at home against Burnley, 0-0, and the Christmas Carol headline is Silent Night, Goalless Night.
Why are you pointing at me?
You had a good line after that one, like
I
before
don't-
we were in the
I don't
pod.
remember what the goal.
Oh,
the
you
line
did. You
was.
started singing
I know,
another
well,
line.
yeah, what was it? Boring.
Boring game. I don't remember. Moving on.
Ron was brilliant like 30 minutes ago.
Yeah,
Hey,
he-
Ron's got a
he
lot of
was
jet
on.
lag. Him being in Japan 3
I
days
don't even
ago.
know what time it is.
I don't. Yeah, it's 0-0. Brighton, Hove, and Burnley. I mean, they both. The point helps. Burnley sits at 6.
And Burnley unbeaten in the last 8,
That sounds right.
9, something like that.
And Brighton, Hove, and Albion sitting at 13th. So I mean, Burnley, man, at 6th. I still feel like Burnley, Arsenal, Liverpool. It is anybody's 4th place. I don't see Arsenal getting higher than that. But that 4th place slot, I feel like Arsenal, Burnley, or Liverpool. I don't think Tottenham because they're just starting. You know what they're starting to do? They're playing a little Spursy. We'll get to them in a minute.
Yes, yeah, we will.
But Chelsea, Liverpool, Liverpool, Arsenal, Burnley. I could see them all making that run and fighting, duking it out for that 4th slot. Burnley, and man, what a story if Burnley
Yeah.
managed to squeak
That would be
into
fantastic.
It would be
I don't know if they're going to do it though.
Yeah, but you know what? If they get into Europa, that's also huge.
But that means they have to beat out either Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United, any one of those teams to be in the top 6. I don't know if they can, in the long run, stay with that because their
I think
goal
they can.
difference right now out of those top 7 teams, it's only 4. Everybody else is at least above 10.
They just find a way to win.
Yeah.
They do.
And
They're
all
scrappy. They're fun.
All they need is for Liverpool to have an injury because it seems we'll get to Liverpool in a minute, but it seems like if anybody on the Liverpool side is injured, the whole team just deconstructs itself. So that's possible. Arsenal has already proven that they can just go on a mad tear of losses and ties.
Yeah. Either a bad tear of wins or a bad tear of losses.
So-
you take a pick.
So I think it's entirely possible that they could stay in the running for a Europa slot.
Hopefully they can. I think it'd be a great story if they can just sneak into that.
That'd be so great.
Place.
Well, put it this way. I mean, I know what you're saying, but think about this. In 7th, below them is Tottenham. 8th and 9th is Everton. I mean, you're right. They could end in that 7th slot where Tottenham is now. But there are some clubs, Tottenham, Arsenal, Liverpool, that have a lot of talent that screw the pooch at the wrong time.
Yep.
I could see it happening because I don't, and the reason I say it, I don't see Leicester or Everton or Watford scooting up there. They're wildly inconsistent.
Yeah. And Watford's really in a tailspin
Burnley,
right now.
way more consistent.
Yeah,
So
I agree with that.
Well, and going over to Brighton real quick, they really need to start to see something from one of their standout players from last year, Anthony Alcart. He needs to start influencing games a little bit more. He, so far this year, has played in 14 Premier League games, only has 1 goal and 1 assist. That's not good enough.
no,
That's not good enough. And he, like I said, he was their standout all of last year. If they want to keep staying up,
they
because
need
right
to
now
look.
they're up there. They're in 13th, but they're still 3 points off the bottom. They need him to step up a little bit because he is a really good, talented player that just hasn't gotten it going so far this year.
Yeah, it seems like he just doesn't doesn't click with the program, and he's been having that trouble all season long. So I don't know if they've changed their mindset from last year to this year. I mean, they had to have, of course,
Right, because now
they're being
Clearly,
promoted.
yeah.
You have to
But-
defend now.
But I think he's got a little bit of Lukaku syndrome in the respect that when Brighton Hove and Albion hasn't had the easiest schedule, firstly. So that quality of teams really makes players invisible. And the only reason I point Lukaku out is because he's like the poster boy of that at the moment. So I agree with you. He's got to step up and really find a way to make some smart runs, start pulling some defenders, creating some good chances. But you're right.
Just influence games.
Yeah, he's got to show up and help the team make something
because
happen.
right now it's tried to not get relegated by drawing everybody.
Right.
Yes.
You got to win a couple. I mean, you
do.
You're gonna have to.
Yeah,
Now
you do.
there are in a year where there are some clubs that are struggling so much they could get lucky in that respect.
Yeah, they could.
So this rolls us over to, here you go. Ron and I did get a chance to watch this. Chelsea at home against Southampton. They win 1-0.
I stretched on this.
Okay, here's a. If you stretch, then I say you sing the Christmas Carol.
All right, let me make sure I have the right song.
Here's the Christmas Carol headline.
It came upon the Marcus kick, the glorious goal of old.
Was there a melody in that anywhere?
I don't know.
Midnight
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it came
was a
upon
string
a
in
Marcos
there,
kick,
like-
that glorious goal of old, right? And that's
So
where
much
they go?
better. So much better.
Is that the right
Right,
tune?
I just write the content. You perform it.
It's funny. I just couldn't. I was like, it's been a long
That
time
was
since
good.
I've
That
heard
was
one.
that's exactly what I had in my head. You did it. I butchered it.
I like the butchered version better.
Yeah,
with
sure
the
you did.
no melody version.
I don't sing.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Well,
And I only say that because I don't sing.
But your Christmas Carol nets it pretty well. I mean, Marcos Alonso,
He's a free kick specialist,
man.
He and Willian.
He has great hair too. Good
Yeah.
set of locks on that guy, just flowing.
Yeah, the
Right there at the end of the half. You always hate that. We'll take the wind out of sails, Southampton too.
And while this was actually a really fun match to watch because they were very evenly suited. I don't think Chelsea was playing their best. They were having a bit of an off match, but they kept going at Southampton, which was excellent to see. And this free kick right at the end of the half was perfectly placed. However, I think Fraser Foster was just out of it because when the ref blows the whistle, Fraser Foster has his hands on his knees. He's kind of doubled over and he's looking to his left and the free kick is coming from the right. And he kind of like does a double take. The ball's in the air. His feet aren't set and he makes an awkward dive. And I don't think he was ready for the free kick to come.
Well, and they pointed out too on the two Robbies did on what's his name on the end of the wall turned
Right.
and let the ball. Gabbiandini let the ball go right. If he hadn't turned,
Yeah,
that
it would
ball
have been blocked.
literally went where his body was.
Yep.
So yeah,
And that's what if you're in the wall, you got to stand there and just
especially
take it.
with Marcos
If it comes,
Alonso.
yes.
You're
Yeah.
like you know this is a guy that can net a free kick.
If not, he'll shampoo your hair to death.
Yeah, but you're right. Yeah, but he was goalkeeper was just like in space somewhere.
He was a yeah.
He was super far over to the left,
Yeah.
and he just wasn't paying attention, which is really strange considering.
And Chelsea, that's the difference. You said they didn't have a great game, but that's what good teams do when they're not playing great. They win because teams that aren't great make a mistake.
And that's the difference in a league like this. You
Two
make a
mistakes.
mistake.
Two mistakes.
Right.
Yeah.
You make those mistakes, teams will capitalize, and they'll capitalize quick, and you will pay for it.
Yep.
Yeah, especially at Chelsea under Conte, you're gonna get burned. You have to have a perfect game.
He's been wearing a hat an awful lot.
Yeah.
Conte. I don't know if I like it.
I don't mind. I think that when he wears a
I like
hat,
Tony Pula style though in the last few weeks.
but when he wears a hat, it contains all that Chelsea excitement, and as soon as they score, he goes utterly ape.
I want to see him throw his hat one of these times.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Do like an Olay and just toss that bad boy up into like the stands.
That'd be fun. But yeah, he was pretty excited on that. I like when he goes and Chelsea score and he goes crowd surfing or jumps into the coach's arms and they all
Again, I just want to hang out with him and Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, that'd be super fun.
Just for a day.
Just like at a
Super fun.
German beer hall with a bunch of Italian wine.
That next day is going to be rough.
Yep. You know that's going to be a fun time.
And Southampton on a bit of a slide right now. They're also 3 points off the bottom. That they've lost. They've only won one in their past, I think, 5 in the league. So they're on like a 4-game skid right now.
Southampton is not 5 points off the bottom.
No, I'm sorry. They're 3 points off the bottom.
Of what?
Of relegation zone.
Yes.
Because Newcastle's at 15 points.
Oh, okay.
They're
I'm
at
sorry.
18.
Yes.
They're 3 points off the bottom,
Right.
and they're on like a 5-game slid. The last game they won was a 4-1 against Everton. They lost to Man City, which there's no shame in that. Drew, got smoked by Leicester 4-1, and then obviously lost to Chelsea. So
Yeah,
be
and
careful. You could see yourself down there, and that's not where Southampton.
What's
wanna be.
happened to Gabbiandini? He started the season on fire.
No, but you know who's come on awesome, and I just picked him up in fantasy because he's the man. Charlie Austin.
Yeah, Charlie
Charlie
Austin.
Austin, man. He had a couple of chances in this game that
He had a
some
one
really
on
good one.
Courtois and couldn't put it away.
He's your typical like English. Like, he's just a workhorse. He's powerful. He's strong. He's good with both feet. Not technically savvy. He's not going to put on like a move on you or a Padenka or anything. He can score with his head, his feet. He's a quality
Utilitarian
player. Utilitarian player. There was I think a few years back there was talks that there was a rumor going around on deadline day that he would sign for Manchester United. It's like Charlie Austin's not going to sign for Manchester United, but I'm thinking to myself, well, you know what? Right now, I'd take Charlie Austin because at the time we didn't have anybody, and maybe that's what you need. You need somebody with a little bit of passion, a little bit of heart, and just somebody powerful that can cause some havoc up there.
Right. As somebody who's going to take chances.
Yeah, and he's kind of doing that with Southampton. He's had a goal in the last few games, had a couple of great chances in this, and just hasn't come through. So interesting to see if he keeps getting the nod over. I think he came on second half. I think Aberdeen started, so it'd be interesting to see if he gets a nod from the start here.
Yeah, I think he will. He keeps proving himself useful like that. He will.
From a struggling Southampton, we roll over to a struggling at home Watford.
All of a sudden,
Yeah, man, they were such a sexy little team to watch play football. Now they are just
you sounded really like
having a.
They were a good
They
team
were
to watch.
though, man. They were. We were thinking these guys could be where Burnley is sitting right now, easily. So they at home host Huddersfield, and they lose 1-4
with an incredibly terrible Troy Deeney red card.
It's true.
Oh, yeah.
But it's got a great Christmas carol. I think you should sing it, Ferris. You know this melody. You got this, Ferris. Here's the Christmas carol for the Watford Huddersfield game.
We found out how this went last time, though.
Come on, you got this one.
It's the more wonderful time of the...
What was that melody?
I don't
What
know.
was it?
I
It's the
have.
more wonderful time of the year.
Thank you. I just write it. God, how many times are we going to try this experiment?
We're going to try it all.
Oh, this is great.
And you actually had it until you
did,
got to
I
the
did, I
wonderful
did.
part,
Yeah.
and then it all just be.
And then it just,
God almighty.
but yeah, Troy Deeney, what a dumb red card.
Yeah.
Just frustration, passion, just in the wrong way.
And they were already down 2-0 at that point.
It wasn't a smart tackle. It wasn't necessarily overly dirty. Like, we're going to get into some here in a bit that were overly dirty. This was not overly dirty. It was
dumb.
just exactly. It was just dumb. Just too much passion, just too much, just trying to do something where you didn't need to do it. It's on the sideline.
I
Is
don't know.
that
Do you
like
call that
midfield?
passion or do you call that
I do.
frustration?
No, I
Because
do.
I don't. I call it frustration because
Well, I think it's a little bit of both.
they were just being outplayed by Huddersfield at every turn of the match. And every time Troy Deeney got the ball, there were two people on him. And he couldn't do anything the entire match. And after, right before Troy Deeney goes in for this reckless challenges, I can't recall what Huddersfield player did it, but first they stole the ball from him. Then they passed it off. It came back to them, and they completely ran around him. And he looked just so done. And it was like frustration revenge challenge.
I think the frustration comes from because he was a captain in this game. His passion is just so much that it brings on that if things aren't going right, it just frustration. I want to try to make something happen, but it was put into the wrong way and in the wrong challenge.
Right.
And it was just stupid. Yes, you're down 2-0, but you're not out of it yet. Don't get
Right.
yourself sent off as the captain to then put yourself in an even worse situation, which kind of happened. And then there was some other cards and some other goals.
And you're the captain. You're supposed to stop this stuff from happening. Ugh, it was terrible. But, almost equally as terrible was the Hog red card in the 61st.
Yeah, I think that was a second yellow. Yeah.
But that was a complete reckless challenge.
And if Huddersfield want to keep getting points, Kachunga needs to stay healthy. I think he went off in this game with a knock. That hurts. Moyes is a fantastic player.
He constantly finds himself in the exact right spot for that perfect rebound, for that perfect cross. He's constantly...
Talk about a utilitarian player.
Yeah, he is just... The way he understands how his team plays football is amazing because he is always in the spot you need him when you need him.
And then they also need to keep healthy, and who's been on a good run. I'm going to probably butcher this last name. Laurent Depatre. He is a good striker. Yeah. He is big, he's strong, he's powerful, and he's really good with his feet. If they can keep those guys somewhat in the lineup there, they have themselves a chance. And they also have he didn't do a whole lot in this game, but he scored in a couple of the last games. Steve Mounier.
Oh, right.
He had a couple goals in the last game, and he was the one that scored the first, I think, 2 or 3 goals the very first weekend. He's another one.
Steve Mounier sounds like a guy that would have starred with the Gutenberg in 80s movies. Steve Mounier. I don't know. It just totally sounds like starring Kirstie Alley and Steve Mounier. He's got a very 80s sitcom star sounding name to him.
He does.
I'm just saying, life always finds a way.
Oh, my gosh. Jeff Goldblum, I love you. Okay. I've been laughing, waiting to get to this because this is Stoke City at home gets obliterated 3-0 by West Ham, and Ferris has a Christmas Carol headline. No bell, no bell, no bell, no bell.
Hey, nice job.
Is that how the song goes, though?
I don't
It's
freaking
Noel.
know.
It's not Noel.
Yeah, it is
Noel.
No, I think it's
Noel.
No, they go 4 times. I think they go 4
Like
times.
3 or 4 times.
Okay. Stand by Hall for show. Because I had to look at I was literally had Christmas lyrics. I was
YouTube and like
oh god,
Yeah,
it
it's
was
4 times.
terrible.
They go 4
Okay.
times.
it just
It's
sounds
4 times.
really.
Yeah, I think so.
It just sounded.
Because
For
I'm adding
some
different
reason,
here.
it sounded off to me. I don't know. Keep my finger
I'm
on.
saying it. No Sherlock. God Almighty, what do you think's going on here?
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bleeping Podcast.
Oh man, we have blown the budget on bleeps in the first 10
Man,
minutes.
that first time you told me that, I was like, oh, I feel so bad.
I know you're like, did they really cost money?
Yeah,
I've got to download each one for
like,
99 cents.
I will Apple Pay you right now. We'll get it taken care of. Like, sorry, man, I don't mean to.
We have to have a swear jar to pay for the bleeping.
But I mean, so West Ham desperately needs a win.
They've been getting them.
Yeah. They're sitting at 15th now with just 2 points above relegation.
Arnautovic scored in this one, which
Finally.
finally, and against his old former team.
And cool, classy, no celebrating.
I mean, he had a knee slide. He had a knee slide in there. And then he got up and kind of was like, okay.
It wasn't
But
like
it wasn't over the top.
Yeah, it wasn't like I went over to the flag and kicked it, and then all the buddies jumped on me, and then we took a parade lap.
say
and
it's
then-
all
Or
mine.
was
It's all
who was it
effing
years ago? Emmanuel Adebayor for Man City scored and ran all the way down to the other side of the pitch,
Right.
in front of the Arsenal fans, and took off his jersey. And I don't remember what the hell he did, but yeah, it was not that. You are correct.
Yeah. That's some Ocho Cinco stuff. No. Who did that? Was it Deion Sanders? Who did the kneeling in the Star at Dallas in the NFL?
Terrell Owens.
Terrell Owens.
He,
Terrell
he
Owens.
ran all the way back, and
then-
then somebody knocked him out.
Yeah.
Like they shoved him over.
I miss
Oh.
those days.
Brilliant. But West Ham kind of suffering in the stats in this match, even though they won, they were down in possession
It
by
was
almost
more
10%.
about like not that they played well, but Stoke was awful.
Yeah, Stoke. Well, I mean, West Ham has been, picking up under new management.
Even
and-
Moyes there, yeah.
and they've been getting or becoming more solid as time goes on. You really expected, well, I really expected a lot more from Stoke, and they just, I mean, they didn't have anything. 0 shots on target out of 17 total. They didn't even make the West Ham keeper sweat at all.
A lot of talk right now that Marquez could be the next one to go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this weekend for him is huge. If they don't get a positive result,
Who are they playing?
Stoke?
Yeah.
yeah.
Because they've got if they were to lose this weekend, I could see him go ahead and get in the can now.
Playing West Brom.
Okay, especially against West Brom.
Yeah, who's we'll get to here in a bit.
Yeah.
They're also struggling. So yeah, you're right. If this is a huge weekend,
This
this is
like
they call it a relegation 6-pointer or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, I mean that's this because if they don't get a positive result, whew, he's no mas.
Yeah, that's not going to be not going to be good. West Ham has been shuffling their players around a lot. He's been doing a bunch of smart stuff with the West Ham lineup. He's taken some old people out and made them, some starters that were starting earlier in the season.
Joe Hart.
Yeah, he's taken them out, but he's also made some of them impact players for the second half when he makes his substitutions, which.
He's like working with what he's got. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what he's yeah.
And he's what's interesting to see with all of the new coaches, Crystal Palace, this is happening too. It's fun to watch how the coaches and the managers put people in different places, and you watch them succeed in different places than they were otherwise playing. And it's so cool to watch a new manager who comes in and goes, "Oh no, this guy's better suited over here," and watch them thrive in that new lineup or that new position.
That's the thing you can't teach. You either have it or you don't.
Well, it's also everybody just think about like your normal jobs and everything. Just an extra, like another pair of eyes on it sometimes just helps because they see things a little bit differently with what they got and what formations and all of that. Yeah,
And a lot of people, especially people new to soccer, say, "Does the formation really matter, or does a manager really do that much?" And that's obvious.
yeah,
That's
they do
really
a whole
obvious.
lot. We'll get into that the next game. They do
What's
a lot.
that old quote? It's something like a good coach or manager can make a team like 10% better or 70% worse.
Well, yeah, and you think and you think of all the teams that are currently very big right now. Think of the NFL. Who's the first team you think of? Probably Patriots.
I guess that's a
Who's
weird
their coach?
season. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I actually wasn't thinking of the
But
Patriots.
Belichick, but
Yes.
the teams that have been successful over the years. You look at the
They make the most of
The Green Bay
they see where to put
Packers
people.
under
Right.
Holmgren,
Yeah.
Bill Parcells with the Giants.
right. Those are the big names. You look at like college basketball. Duke. You have Krzyzewski.
Yeah,
Michigan State. Izzo. Like you have
that
you
guy
have the
from
big names.
Ohio State who used to fling chairs onto the field loses.
Indiana.
Yeah,
Indiana.
was in Indiana.
Yeah,
He's
Bob Knight.
it was
Bob Knight,
so
thank you.
fun to
Bob
watch
Knight.
that guy lose his. Oh my god, it's
He was
great.
great.
You guys have to keep talking. I'm writing down when I have to bleep things out.
Oh, sorry.
Speaking of managers,
Oh, speaking of managers making people 10% better, this is a perfect example.
yes.
Oh,
Man City at
Cool.
home host Tottenham. And I say that that is a crazy amount of talent on that Man City team. It needed something. Last year didn't quite gel.
Yep.
But this year, clearly, that little polish to get the team to work together, and they obliterate the Spurs 4-1.
There's a little bit of polish. There's also a little bit of players they brought in over the summer, which are not necessarily the big name that you think of, like the Agueros or the De Bruynes or
Sterling.
yeah. This was a goalkeeper.
Yep.
Who's having a great year. He is brave as crap. You're welcome,
job.
Blake.
Thank you.
Ooh, save money on that beat.
Yep. He goes after everything. He distributes the ball very well, which is exactly what Pep wanted last
Right.
year from
The whole-
Bravo,
the
where
whole
he
point
made that mistake.
Was that he wanted them to be able to play out of the back. And in this game, there was a surgical pass
yes.
from the keeper all the way to the feet of Aguero in stride.
But first,
Which
I'm
was
sorry,
awesome.
We got way too far into this. There's a Christmas Carol headline for this as well, written by Ferris. Hit it, Ferris. If you can't get this
Why
one,
do you keep going to me?
I
Just write it.
because it's great.
Oh, I don't even know how I'm going to do this one.
Come on, you got everyone.
Give me a second here. Let me. Sterling bells, sterling bells. It's Christmas time in the city.
That's great. That's the best one so far.
Good job, buddy.
Yeah, you got like half the notes right. That was a good one. Sterling bells. That's just funny. Like I will think that every time I see Raheem Sterling now. Sterling bells.
Are we actually recording this?
Yes, we are.
He kind of sounded
But why
like
didn't you say it's Christmas time in Man City?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I don't know because I coming up with some of these is not as easy as you think.
Really?
Yeah. God, they're bad. They're just
You worked hard
force
on
in
these?
names. Oh,
You serious, Clark?
Yeah. Just an ass in his underwear sitting there on the couch doing content. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. That's a good one. It's Christmas time in Man. Oh, Blake.
I love how annoyed you are.
Good one.
Oh man.
But going back to yes, and some of the other ones that they brought in, Danilo, Kyle Walker, backs that they didn't have last year. They had Zabaleta, and they had some of these older, not quite Pep style players that got the ball moving with pace, played it out of their feet quick. He got that in, and that's those are the pieces that he missed last year.
right.
The defense is playing quite well. Mangala
Oh yeah, this
playing
goal.
surprisingly well.
Mm-hmm.
Will that last? So far it has. At some point they will lose, but you add that on, you have so much attacking talent going forward.
Oh, well, that's it's it's so ridiculous whenever there's a substitution because you're like, and that's who's coming on.
They brought on Bernardo Silva.
They
brought on Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah, you're like, oh, thank God that guy's going off. Oh, no, bring him back.
Bring him back. Yeah, bring him
The
back.
only thing you think of is ass.
Yeah, yeah. They're so good. They're so good this year. I'm gonna be honest. I enjoy watching Man City play.
So do I.
I don't like to, but I
It's
don't.
so much fun. And I want to go back to Kyle Walker for a second because Kyle Walker, man, he is playing phenomenal right now. And I don't really feel that he played this well under the Spurs even when they had that close run at Chelsea last year. He's a completely different player from last year to this year.
He has confidence. And that's one of the things that Pep does so well. When you talk about the 10% and all, is he instills confidence in his teams. Confidence goes a long way with teams. It goes a long way with any sort of group of people, whether it's at a job, whether it's on the field. You can instill confidence in them. Well, that will drive people. That will drive each other. They'll be more competitive.
You're right, because on the sidelines and in the post-match interviews, there is no manager exuding the confidence that Pep Guardiola is right now.
And he has, what was it? A few weeks back, he had enough confidence to go over to an opposing team's player and point out to him that he needs to be more on the ball and attack more.
Yeah.
That's not your player, Pep. He's wearing the opposite colors. He's wearing red and white. You're
wearing
wearing
like the
blue.
game. What are you doing?
Right.
Get out there.
Right. And what? That's a little too much confidence there. But that's what he exudes, and he instills that in his players, his goalie, his coaching staff. You can just see it. And the person you can see it in the most right now, and is by far the best player so far this year, Kevin De Bruyne.
Oh, geez.
He had himself an amazing game.
And
that's
pretty normal for him this year.
Yes.
Premier League Messi.
And last year, he was awesome. So for him to get this much better, I mean, his early crosses are perfect all the time. Aguero has to sneeze to put the ball in the net.
I was so excited to watch this game. Like, that's what's like.
You're a sad Arsenal fan.
But they're so good. It's a joy. Like, every time they play, you're like, because they don't win. They don't win by grinding it out and parking a bus. But they don't do that. They win gallantly. That's what's crazy.
Right.
I mean,
they never stop. And
they play. Oh, we talked about watching the match. I was like, they are winning 4-0 in the 85th minute and playing like they're down one.
And after running their legs into the dirt, they score 3 times in the last 20 minutes. And at that time, Tottenham just essentially falls apart and concedes, especially for the last goal.
How did Harry Kane not get kicked out of this game?
Screw that. How did Dele Alli not get kicked out of the game?
Both of them.
That is filthy.
Yeah.
He's
Both
a
of them.
dirty player. That is a terrible challenge. I know he's done. He has that fight, and he has that little bit of edge that he always has those challenges. But that challenge could have been an ankle breaker. Yeah. He purposely went over the ball and dug studs into De Bruyne. But you know what was more just awesome? De Bruyne said, "Screw you." And 2 minutes later, scored with his off foot. Scored with his left foot.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's like, my right foot hurts because of Dele Alli, so I'll put it in with my left. Have a nice day.
That's the confidence right now, and that's the Man City way. Is they're gonna go, we're gonna show you where it hurts, and they just point up to the scoreboard. Yep. That's what they can do. And De Bruyne, for all that we're saying, he can play a perfect ball. He can score right foot, left foot. More importantly, more than anything, he's a workhorse.
Yeah,
he covers so much ground.
Yep,
he is all over the place.
And that one that he scored,
a lot more. He affects the game so much more than just that one ball or that one goal.
And
he's
at this
everywhere.
Point, what's that crazy stat we saw, Ron? That like at this point, Man United is having a better run than they've had since Alex Ferguson.
Yeah,
right.
It's the best run.
But they are further back at second place because of how ahead.
Right, Man City is.
Like, it's crazy.
They're having I think they're going to set the points record.
52 points.
I think they're going to set the season points record.
Well, we should mention, speaking of, so they broke the Premier League record. Did they break it? Yes, they broke the Premier League record of matches.
Was it?
Yes, won 16.
So now they got winning streak, not the points record.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. So they got to get to 19 to match I think it's match or
top
beat
leagues
Europe.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, is it Europe?
Yeah.
Right.
So
I think they're going to set the points record for the season.
Yeah. I mean, they're just disgustingly good.
Will they lose a game this year?
Yeah.
Sure.
Statistically.
That's what I think, yeah.
Statistically, they'll have to.
In the Premier League?
Yeah.
And
it's going to come down to like a 6th or 7th place team, I bet. That just has the day.
Brighton. Oh,
Yeah, it'll be some. You're right. It'll
Burnley.
be Burnley. There you go.
There you go.
That'll be Burnley getting them into the top 4.
Watch it be Crystal Palace.
They're just good.
Oh,
Wouldn't that
Grandpa
be
Roy, that'd be brilliant.
Wouldn't that be sweet?
They're just good, and they're a delight to watch. Who's not a delight to watch is West Brom, as they host Man United at home, and
New management as well.
Now I'll say no one's surprised that Man U wins, but West Brom actually kind of held out decently against Man United.
First half, no. So second half, West Brom had the better half.
Yes.
Yeah.
Without question.
Yes, and they won the half because they scored the only goal in that half.
And
We happened to score 2 in the first.
Sure, and speaking of, we've got a Christmas Carol headline.
You sung this one very well beforehand, and I will default to you.
It's beginning to Lukaku a lot like Christmas.
Joy in
All of a sudden, now he's got a melody.
Oh,
right?
because you had it. I just followed it from there. Terribly.
Well, yes, because Lukaku scored because they're
Amazing.
playing a terrible team. Because that's the only time that Lukaku shows up.
Correct.
Is if someone's below the 7th or lower, 6th, 8th or lower.
That's so far this year has
that's-
proven to be true.
That's not even me digging at you. That's Everton.
just-
When he's at Everton, that was his problem. Like he disappears.
One thing that's interesting right now, though, that is kind of getting a lot of talk is the past 2 goals that he scored, because he's been on a little bit of a drought, but he scored against Bournemouth midweek, but is again in that bottom tier, and then against West Brom, who is now fallen into the bottom 3. They're sitting in 19th on 14 points with the minus 11. Ugh, not good for them. But he hasn't celebrated those 2 goals.
Yeah, so
It's interesting.
neither Mourinho hasn't either.
Oh yeah, that came up. They talked to Mourinho about that after the match.
It's almost like he's just
yes,
like,
I was happy with the goal, but celebrate.
Almost like he's
His excuse was, we're all professionals.
We're
and
professionals.
We have to continue on with the season.
So did the Man City loss and the derby kind of humble them?
I don't think it humbled him. I think
Whoa. Did
Everybody's
you
not-
just say humble Jose
Yeah,
Mourinho?
no, I said them. I didn't necessarily say Jose.
Yeah.
I meant
I don't know. Because I think everybody thought Man City was going to win that match because Man City wins every match. Do you know what I mean? I don't know that was.
match was well, I don't want to say it was closer, but they scored 2 goals off of free kicks and off of set plays and not in the run of play. Did they dominate the game in terms of possession and attacking? Yes, they did. But I don't think it was a 2-1 game. Lukaku made a terrible mistake for the second goal. He went to clear the ball and just Benny Hill cleared off his own defender's back and around, right? Right across goal, right? Like everybody knows, don't try to clear something across goal. Like go to the sides with it. So, but did that kind of have an effect and go, okay, are they just kind of putting their head down now and just trying to get the wins and then maybe they'll catch up to City? I don't think it's going to happen, but what's the mindset here? Why not celebrate? Why not?
Yeah, I'm wondering.
It's a goal in soccer. They don't come all that often unless you're Man City.
Jose Mourinho looked downright unenthused.
Oh, he's playing at West Brom. It's raining. It's cold. Everybody be that way.
I know, but
when the match is over, too, though, you don't have to celebrate at the time, but the match is over. West Brom easily could have drawn.
In the second half,
because of their second half play. Yeah.
So once you move to the second half and you're interviewing Jose afterwards, it didn't surprise me that he's a little bleh.
I don't know.
He's
I
not-
still think you show a little something for the fans, even if you're like, yes, and a quick fist bump into the sky, and that's
Also,
it.
it must suck.
Yeah, that's kind of the talk over in England is those fans paid to go there.
Right.
And
he sat there like he was
support,
bored.
And he sat there like he just checked. I mean, just checked
But you've
off the
got
box
Jose
and went on his
Mourinho
way.
coaching a club that he knows cannot fight for first. Like, we're so close to that not being a reality.
Yeah, I don't. I don't think. I don't
You're
think
still fighting for something.
Oh,
right,
sure.
right. And second is no shabby task right now. And
When they
we
handle,
are having the best year that we've had in several years, but it's just being outclassed right now by the team
You are-
in the
yeah.
same city.
you are my NFL football fantasy team. that I would have great games, and then someone would have their best game against me. of their whole run.
Yes.
And
Yes.
That's what's happening. Yes. Instead of match night, when Jose gets a Heineken now, he's like, it's a match.
It's the match.
It's a match.
There is a match, and it is night.
And it is
Ryan,
night.
Lukaku scored. We go on to the next
We are all
match.
professionals. Meow.
And he always looks surprised by his answers this season. Like when someone asks him a question, and then he's like, well, I don't think we should, we score, we go on, we play. He always looks like he's surprised that he has to answer.
Like, what? Why are you asking these questions? And the poor,
Love
like,
it.
he was asked back, and the reporter's like, well, okay, if you want my opinion, I looked like a penalty. I like,
Right.
it's like,
I love it. This is the master of confusion.
and then like the next interview will be like Jurgen Klopp, and he's just like blah 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 blah, and he just talk all day long. Yeah,
I love it.
Although Jurgen Klopp had quite the meltdown midweek
Oh, yeah.
last week.
He was. He was.
Well, then you are right. That was the
Yeah.
best. Well, I mean, it looked like a penalty. He had two hands on the back and shoved him. Okay, then I am wrong and you are right.
I mean,
It was amazing.
It was soft, but a penalty.
Yes.
And speaking of Liverpool, that rolls us into a game that he was very happy afterwards because they rolled over to Vitality Stadium against Bournemouth, and
Sad.
Liverpool won 4-0. Liverpool looked fantastic. If Liverpool had one more defensive player that was good, the back line,
And a goalie.
they could be sitting where Man City is right now, or competing with.
I don't
Man
think
City.
I don't think their attacking team, their attacking core team clicks as well as it does in Man City.
Well, the problem is a club gets through and scores on them quick, and they start to fall apart.
Right.
You know, and then that attack disappears, which obviously did not happen this go round.
And they should have torn Bournemouth open like this.
Well-
Bournemouth is so low in the
Boy,
table.
missing Matt Ritchie, huh? Yeah, they're miss. I mean, Jermaine Defoe.
2 years now, though, that they've missed him.
Yeah, but it just you can feel it now. I mean, they're just lacking some aggressiveness.
Well, and in fairness, these aren't the type of games that Bournemouth looked to get points. I know last year this was
did,
wasn't this
yeah.
like a 4-3 game last year in Bournemouth on the South Coast? It was a crazy game.
Yeah.
That ended with like a Nathaniel Aki header. Or something. Like it was a crazy game. Yes, but you can't really.
It's not going to happen.
Right. They want to get their points off of like the Stokes, the West Hams, the
Yeah,
so on
but
and so forth.
you have one of my favorite Christmas Carol headlines for this match. I think you got to hit it
Again,
Yeah.
people don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear it. It's embarrassing for me.
All right, should we Ron do this one?
Ron hasn't done one.
What is? Sorry, I was looking up the stats.
I mean, I can do it if you. I mean,
I'll do it. I don't care. The previous results, April 5th of 2017 was a 2-2 draw. Then December 4th of 2016 was a 4-3 win in Bournemouth.
Yes,
Yeah.
there it was. Yeah.
And
That
then
game was amazing.
That was an awesome
April
game.
17th of 2016 was a 1-2 loss to Bournemouth. So
It was that
it's been
4-3 game this time last year. That was insane.
Which one are we in?
The headline for Liverpool and Bournemouth.
Okay.
It's your Christmas Carol.
Me. Salah, baby, and hurry down the field tonight.
That one's so gross.
You're welcome.
Oh man, these are all so bad.
Terrible.
Oh, they're so bad.
But Liverpool,
Salah's so good though.
4 different scores, which was really fun to see how
Well, that's the
creative
crazy-
they were.
Without Mane on the pitch too.
Yes.
Mane.
But that's the crazy thing about Liverpool. They have so many scorers.
Yeah. When they're firing, they're great.
Dejan Lovren even scored a damn goal in this game.
Yeah, that's rare.
Then this rolls us on the other side of
The Monday night game.
at home we've got Everton.
The battle for mediocrity.
Not anymore for Everton.
I think is the battle of mediocrity versus the battle of poop. As Everton takes on Swansea City.
That's fair.
And
Sorry, Chris.
they win big time 3-1 over Swansea. And Swansea now at a negative 15 goal differential. Stoke, the only team worse. Man, I believe the only team worse. Yes. Swansea sucks.
Everton didn't even look that great in this match.
They're up to 9th all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Big Sam, baby.
Yeah, but
Big Sam effect.
Everton still, but Ron's right. They don't look good.
They've also
Rooney looks good, though.
The Big Sam
He's
effect.
4th in the Premier League scoring
That's
charts right now.
crazy. He's getting the golden boot.
That's
Good for
insane.
him. I hope he does. El Capitan, do
Got
it.
my golden boot.
Go to boat, chips on the plane. What was that?
But also, the Everton schedule has been relatively light of late, so that makes it relatively easy for them to do a little.
That also
climbing.
means it's a smart hiring and a smart.
That's fair.
Big Sam comes in and knows, hey, I can nick some
Saves
points
the-
off of these real quick and look
Right.
even better than
All he's got to
smart.
do is survive.
And this is definitely one of those games where you're like, did Everton play really well, or did they just capitalize off of a really crap Swansea team?
All right, Ferris, you
They
got to.
kind of got woken up because Swansea scored first in this game, and I think that they kind of at that point they then kind of got
they
a little bit. And this was the second
sorry,
time this week
Swansea.
that a former player scores on there.
Yeah.
But you got
Former
to.
team.
You got to. Someone had a goal that was very important,
Speaking of the devil,
and I think you got a song to sing about it for our final Christmas Carol headline.
Sigerson is coming to town.
Nice.
Yeah, he's coming to town. He's going.
Yeah.
Although they were playing at home, so it doesn't really work that way. But I tried to end on a good note.
That's good.
It was
I
good.
enjoyed
It was good. You had most of the melody of that one.
Most.
Yeah, Sigurdsson score. Yeah, most.
Yeah, that's one thing I.
Of the 7 notes, most were there.
Man, you should say them because I just write them.
But Sigurdsson, that was a big deal for him to get in there because he's
About time.
he's been a little vacant of the goal area.
Yes, he
Oh,
has.
yeah, get those beers out. We need another one.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the second coming, if you will, and he turned out to be relatively flat.
And I think that's partly because I know
Well,
we've talked
the-
about this on other pods, but they Everton kind of brought in a lot of players of the same ilk.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they have Rooney, who's a center attacking mid now, Ross Barkley. They brought in Sigurdsson, and Sigurdsson's kind of been he's almost playing a whole holding role. But
Was the
not
rumor
quite.
true that they went after Giroud? I mean, that was
I believe it was.
the talk.
true,
Was
yes.
it made the most sense?
It absolutely
I-
would
I
because they
just
don't
don't
have
know.
that talisman up front to head the ball in or to kind of hold the ball up. They don't really have that. Calvert-Lewin scored in this game, and he's been really good for them. He's a young player. He's bright. He's energetic. But that's not necessarily what you need at times. You need somebody that can also hold the ball up.
Right.
Oh,
You need,
Lukaku can hold the ball up.
you need somebody who's going to.
Giroud's a great. link
Giroud
and
can
ball.
hold
Yeah.
the ball up.
You got to have someone who's going to play smart to the situation that you're in when you're in it, as opposed to
Right.
I do this all the time. And he is definitely a player that will charge the net when it's just him against 4 defenders, and he'll lose it every time. So,
Well, I mean, at this point, we were guaranteed that Crystal Palace was going to get relegated. They've moved up. Are we feeling that Swansea is the club at this point that just doesn't seem like they're going to crawl out? I mean, West Brom, Newcastle sit above them. I feel like those are clubs that.
I think if they have 2 more losses, they're going down.
Who are we talking about?
Swansea.
Yeah.
Ferris got a little distracted. His beer
real close to
got to
overpouring. Yeah, that was-
overpour all over the place.
yeah, I just Swansea.
That's sad.
I need.
But
Does Paul Clement stay in a job? I don't know if he does. I mean, but who the hell else are you going to get right now to really bring him out?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't-
a
Your
trick.
Allardyce, your Roy Hodgson's,
All of the-
who's the one at West Brom now that just got hired in? He used to coach at Palace.
Pardue.
Pardue.
Right.
Could you bring in a Tony Pulis? Isn't he Welsh? You could bring in a Tony Pulis, I guess.
Anything. I don't know.
Any of those like lingering coaches and managers.
Lingering. I love that.
That's what they do.
I
They
just
like
imagine them shuffling around outside of the stadiums of crappy teams.
the picket sign.
Like the Walking Dead. It's like, pick me.
There's none of those really floating around. So
It would be Tony Pulis. That would be it right now.
By the way, again, good choice on this Fireside Chat from 21st Amendment.
Absolutely.
It's delicious.
7.9.
It warms up my heart.
FDR, not LBJ.
No, yes.
Shelby Johnson.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Johnson.
Now,
Samsonite.
I was way off. Jeez, it's taking me forever to edit this podcast.
Yeah, we've been a little.
There's like 14 bleeps in it.
Yeah, we've been a little.
That's conservative.
Is there
So
more?
we
Nice.
let's roll out of this. We'll pick up the pace to kind of wrap this up because I don't want us to run too long because we're obviously well past the MLS final, but we just do want to discuss because we had made some predictions. We had, long story short, obviously Toronto wins 2-0. For me, it was the team that should have won.
They were the best team all year.
They were the best team last year in the match for this rematch against Toronto and Seattle. I was so glad that it did not go to because when it started, it looked like, well, Toronto's going to own this.
Stefan Fry was still having a great game like he did last year.
I actually think if you took off the mask, it was David De Gea. He was like under there. Because it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Game of his life. And I was like, if this guy, if it goes to PKs, it's literally this goalkeeper won the game.
Right.
Again, a second year in a row. Yeah.
And nobody wanted that. So there was a lot of excitement when the out the door goal went in.
And Victor Vasquez,
yeah.
an underrating signing that they had that a lot of people didn't see.
At the 94th.
But very good signing and a huge
and a great
player for them all year.
Great goal.
One thing I do want to see, though, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I want to see that championship game not played at somebody's home stadium.
Well, I kind of agree. However,
just one game? You've done the entire playoffs back and forth. Now there's just one game and it happens to be in the Supporters Shield.
Okay.
I understand why and I get how we get there, but if you want to become a league, set locations. If it happens, if you set, say, Orlando City, Atlanta, and LA, and you set southern cities or wherever, you set it in Portland or wherever, and Portland happens to get into it, fine.
Unfortunately,
but 2 years in a row, Seattle's having to go cross country and play in Toronto.
Yeah, but unfortunately,
that's
I
rough.
don't think the MLS is in a position where if the final was in Orlando and it was Seattle and Toronto, that you want the stadium to be full for TV. You want,
but that's why you do it the first couple of years. It's going to sound, I don't know if it sounds conceited or not, but you want to do it in a Orlando, a LA, because those are destination areas that people can kind of make a week out of it.
I just don't think we're there yet. And you know why we're not there yet? I said I want to keep this quick, but this postseason MLS lineup blows. This schedule, and then the break
terrible.
they took with the international people, the people that had literally forgotten that the final was happening.
They lost all their momentum in the time off between the last of the playoffs and, if I'm not mistaken, they put it on a Saturday.
The conference semifinals were on like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, October 29th, 30th, 31st, and the conference finals were on the 21st of November, 29th of November, and 30th of November.
You lose, and
the final was
a lot
which
of
day?
interest there. The final was on,
Because there was a gap in between that.
Final was on December 9th.
Yes, all momentum was gone. So again, I bring it up to, and I think one of the soccer president, hope to be Ronaldo, I think said that, or Ronaldo said that. No, say his name right.
Eric Ronaldo. Yeah.
Ronaldo. That he wanted to move to the FIFA international schedule. This is to me the exact reason why. Because at this point, you are ending the most exciting part of your season, competing with college football and NFL getting very hyped as well. There's no room for you on SportsCenter. There's no room for you.
We've gotten into this discussion though. And I think,
you were wrong last time.
But the same, I hate you. But the same way, we're not big enough to do that yet, because we're not big enough.
Hold your horses. You have to explain to me why.
Because the summer's a perfect time to play MLS. Because the only thing on is baseball and NASCAR. That's why.
Yeah, but here
we're not competing every week with something. Yes, I get it at the end of the year, but this year was weird because it was a
but
international year and World Cup year.
So
but we should shorten it. The games usually aren't in December; they're at least in November.
Every year it still sucks.
So get it out there sometime in October. You can
Nah,
shorten
you're
it
still
somehow.
wrong.
No, because they played 34 games.
You're still wrong.
Cut that thing down to like 28 games.
You're still wrong.
And get them out in October.
I haven't heard you say anything right yet. So look, here's the thing. Here's the thing. The weather sucks. That's one of the things they talk about.
I'm playing in freaking Toronto. That's what I was just saying.
No, but it doesn't matter. With the exception of Atlanta and Orlando or California, most places are gonna suck for the weather. So you could be playing
play it there. It's what I was saying.
Yeah,
rotate between those three
You
teams.
can't do it yet. The league's not enough. It's not enough. Like the Super Bowl, people buy tickets to the Super Bowl. They don't even know who's going to play.
Yeah, but the Super Bowl gets stick all the time for being the no fun league because so many people have to travel and the expense to go is so exorbitant if you want to go support your team. So on one hand, I kind of agree with being able to play in your home stadium because your team worked their nuts off all season and has the best record. I don't
Seattle
necessarily
did
bad
very well in the West as well, and that's where it's not even a 2-game. It's one game. So
now we can make some
you
arguments.
turn it into a destination for fans. That's why you do it. You start off doing it in those areas where you want to see.
But here's
the
thing. Here's where I disagree on the calendar. Yes, the wintertime sucks to play, but right now we start in early March when the weather sucks. We go into better weather, and then we end the most important part of the season in crappy weather with top competition. Hold on. If you started in August, yes, the weather's nice. You're rolling into the fighting against the NFL and everything else. That's true. But when you're coming on the other side of it, you are rolling from January into May, your most exciting time of the year, coming in like March, April, May, into good weather with your finals where you can get people.
That's why you cut it off in October. You cut it off in the fall. It's still pretty decent weather most areas in October.
Still just here wrong.
This year was odd because of the international games and the World Cup year that were
a shame
on.
they didn't know that was coming.
You say that, but it's
still went
terrible
November
every
last
year.
year. Yes, it still went November last year, and it was still cold. That's why I say you have to cut the schedule back from 34 games to 28, 26.
Because these
you have to figure it out, though.
No, you know why? You do that?
You paid $1 million for this one player, and you're going to cut him back to 28 games.
Figure it out.
I don't think that
more
works.
importantly, Orlando City sells out every match. Atlanta's selling out every match.
We weren't selling out every match.
They don't want to. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, doesn't
We did
matter.
not sell out every match.
It doesn't mean if
sell
people
out
don't
to
show up.
attend is different.
That,
yeah, but you all of a sudden want to take those crowds away. 4 games, 2 games. That's a ton of money.
If it's hurting your league in the long run, yes, you should. And the more games you have, the more it like sanitizes that entire. Keep it short. Make the game something that people want to go for. Make it okay. There's 16 games. Oh my gosh! If it was 13 games, there'd be more people that would be like, I'm not paying. But they're more unique. They're more. You want to see them. You don't want to see so many damn games that it's just like we have another game midweek. We have another game. Like at times, sometimes this year it was like,
well, they do
there's a
need
Wednesday
to make
game.
the schedule better because it felt like we
like-
played NYCFC 3 times in a row.
Right. So do something where it's a home and away between each of the East
In May.
and then
Yeah. I got you. You're with
me.
me.
And then I hate you. and then you play half of the West teams either a home or away. You figure it out somehow.
didn't know you didn't like
and that
Wijnaldum.
puts it at like no, I'm fine with it.
No, you apparently don't like him.
I'm fine with him. It's
a big part
no,
of his.
I understand that, but I don't. We're not big enough right now to compete week in, week out in the most busiest sports time of the year, which is college football, NFL, NBA.
So I feel like you just made my argument.
Well, I mean,
You just made my argument.
If we switch to that calendar, the Premier League competes with that, but the Premier League has a very special thing in the States right now. The great coverage by NBC, and it's in the morning. It's before all the other stuff. We don't have that right now.
One fatal flaw is that
all of it.
If not that I'm condoning Blake's because I have my own opinion, but if you went to Blake's sort of schedule, you're only competing with them for a very short amount of time.
When you open,
and it's earlier in the season, not the exciting part, which is more toward the end of the season.
That's my problem. Is the competition happens at the most exciting time for MLS, and people are like, they don't, you know what I mean? Like they got their sports plate. If you're trying to grow the game,
So are we just trying to shift them?
no, you're not going to shift.
Yeah, because
if your finals in May, what are you competing against?
Right, but if you're starting in October, November, that whole month's gonna be like, because it's just NFL and NBA.
No, you'd be starting in August. FIFA International calendar.
I think if they are going to keep this schedule, then there's a few things they should do. One, they should stop putting important games on Saturday or Sunday first.
Friday night.
They should rebrand Friday night into Friday night MLS games.
Do you know how that won't go, though, and why it won't go?
And if you tell me it's high school football,
yes,
you're full of crap because those people aren't going to watch the game anyway. It's true, though. Do you know why that's also true, Ferris?
It's bigger than you think.
In this country, high school football's dropping down because of concussions. Parents aren't letting kids play. It's a problem. Soccer's growing. I'm saying...
So what do you just like chip away and chip away?
Dude. Yes, if I'm the soccer god running things in America, then I think that's where Ronaldo is coming from. Of look, you're saying we're not there yet. When Ronaldo's like,
we're not there yet.
Put us in that place so that when we're there, we are there. Instead of like,
of course, he's running for U.S. soccer president. He's going to come out with those big statements. Listen, if it was to happen, will I still support? Well, yes, and I would like to see how it happens.
I don't care about your alternative facts, Ferris.
I don't think we're currently I don't think we're currently at a spot where we can do that. I just think you have to be a little bit smarter with what we have.
You still can't explain to me why you said so. We shift the yeah. Shift it to the opening of our season when the diehard fans care. And then when it matters, maybe we can get more of our friends. Hey, come check it out. Like we're rolling to the playoffs. We're getting like
playoffs.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Either way, because you are still competing against bigger sports on the weekends. Even coming out of spring when you have the opening of the Major League Baseball, if that's actually still a sport, and
that's to be the one I wouldn't care about because it's dying.
Right.
I know it's not me saying
this offseason so far,
buddy.
Help bring it up.
Difference between the game being played well right now and that. What did we look at, Ron? Their average age for their viewership was like 51 or
55 and older.
Yeah. So,
but I still think MLS needs to pick a night of the week that is not Saturday or Sunday.
Own it. It's their Monday Night Football.
Correct.
Own it.
Brand it as that, and then when you play the final, you play it on a Friday night. Instead of competing
Tuesdays and Wednesdays,
Friday night,
back of your Champions League games.
Friday night, because all the diehard people are going to go to a party. They're going to get drunk. They're going to have a good time, and they'll have Saturday morning off, and they'll watch Premier League games or whatever. But the fact that we don't have a day for big primetime style games.
Well, they try to do that on Sundays now when it's not the NFL season.
Correct.
In the summer, that's what they try to do it, yes. Which in the summer on Sunday nights, I did watch a lot of those games because it was on.
It's this many days.
The only thing on Sunday nights.
They don't brand it as, nor do they follow it through.
Well, the hard part is
entire season. Hey,
the hard part is
you
they
have been spouting your crap. Can you just let me finish
your
2
lies.
seconds?
They branded over two networks. That's tough.
Oh, as opposed to NBC.
Oh, can I talk again?
Yes, you can. Sir.
Oh, that's nice of you. They need to have a
night.
Wrong.
Go ahead.
I'm a preach. They start the season day one. That's right. Day one, it's like Soccer Fridays. This year, Soccer Fridays. And they carry it through the entire season. And they put their major games, including playoffs, and the MLS final on those days so that you consistently consider, just like you do the NFL Sunday, all the time, you have the same thing with soccer.
Did you know something that I don't like to hear at work? It's the thing I hate the worst in life in general. But that's always how we've done it.
But those words never came out of my mouth.
No,
I didn't say that.
No, I didn't say you said that, but it was implied. No, but that's the problem. Well, high school football is on Friday. It's how we've always done it. So we shouldn't put anything on Friday. Like, to me, that's the feeling that soccer cannot have. Soccer is on a cutting edge. People buy the MLS Kick Stream packages. They do that. I think instead of chasing a trend, like Ron said, you create one.
I said I've agreed with putting it on a different night. It is going to be difficult putting it on a night that has, in this country, has been reserved for high school football. That is the thing that is right now top. Is that declining? Statistics are showing, and we have said them on this pod, that yes, that is starting to go down.
Now, instead of letting someone else take your place.
But you still have a lot of time between May and August, the summer portions of that
nothing is happening on Friday.
Well, fine. Do it on Fridays in the summer. That's which they
Do it on Friday from the beginning,
which they kind of do because they put it on Telemundo, or was it Telemundo or is it
Univision?
Univision.
I think it's Univision.
Univision. They kind of do that
because you have
the
that
summer.
imposter goal guy.
Goal! No, guys, you
That's
both
Univision.
had too much energy. It's literally
Oh, right, that's true.
go.
Because I do think that the summer right now is a way to help build the league because there's not a lot on the nights besides baseball.
You know,
and that statistically we have shown is declining even more so
declining.
than football. So hop on that in the summer and try to catch that. Over time, can we change to a FIFA calendar? Yes, I think we could. But right now, the game is still growing.
right now you just want to do it like we've always done it.
You
Let's
have
figure out a way to do it smarter, whether it's Friday night games or whatever.
Talk to any
Because there's not anything going on in the summer.
Talk to any good marketing person, and they will talk to you about branding. And you take that branding and you say Friday night, soccer night.
Fine,
That's
deal
it.
with it.
And you keep it the entire season. And you put your major playoff games on Friday nights, and you put the final on Friday night instead of competing at that time of year with the major sports.
Why was the final at 4 o'clock?
And
like
it was at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was like
Army-Navy
3
game?
weeks later.
it was Army Navy.
That was the only. Yeah, that was
It was
the
an
only-
Army Navy game. That's it. That is a huge tradition that we've always done. I mean, I have no attachment to Army or Navy like as a football team, but as a kid, I remember growing up, my dad would cut on and we'd watch it. That is a dumb way to schedule. your
Usually we're
final.
not on the Army Navy game because we got pushed back a little bit this
but
year.
again,
Yeah, it's dumb. Yes, I
They
agree,
knew
yes.
it was coming.
Yes. Like
So-
4 o'clock. Yes.
So let me explain. No, let me sum up.
Nice.
You're welcome. We've just done about 25 minutes on the MLS schedule.
Extra complete. Yeah.
And none of us, it's really not up to us, unfortunately. But
Certainly, it's not going to be up to Ferris because we won't let it be
correct.
because he's wrong.
Silent night, goalless night.
The MLS has a lot of deciding to do, and they need to do it before next season. They need to start on it right the F now.
Positive note on MLS making a decision. News broke today. They gave Nashville a club. Nashville's getting a club. So Atlanta,
This coming year?
forgive me, I don't know if
speaking
it'll
of
be
which,
this.
you hear who
but
Atlanta just signed?
But that gives Atlanta, Nashville, and Florida. That's their southern
But
soccer. right now.
Atlanta just signed Darlington Nagby.
Yeah, I saw that.
Um,
So hold on. The schedule is really debated, and it's going to continue to be debated
Yep, until Ferris sees. Oops, Blake was right and I was wrong. Yeah,
until they really
he will see the light.
understand or get someone into the MLS who is a firecracker and is going to really brand the U.S. soccer as a whole. Not
Where's
just
Vince McMahon when you're
Ronaldo.
Vince McMahon.
just kicking the door down?
There'd be ice trucks and
Ronaldo
for U.S. president.
What I
Al
mean by
Martino for MLS president.
What I mean by that,
The big Kmart.
what I mean by that, and I'm kidding, but only partially. The reason I say Vince McMahon,
Do you need? Yeah.
Vince McMahon kicks the door down, and at any interview or whatever, it's way back when to now, what's the best thing on television, Vince? And he is going to passionately tell you how it's the WWE.
Yes.
MLS, you in life, I believe you are what you make yourself. You view yourself as.
You are what we thought you were.
What you project yourself. And if MLS always does this, like, well, we don't want to compete against this, and we don't want to fight against the tradition on Friday. But if you turn around and say, we're so damn awesome, this is where we are here, guys, be there or don't, you're lost if you're not.
Yep.
You at some point, MLS has to go from begging for people to view to saying, and they're close because the supporter groups and the club atmosphere that so many clubs have is so good at, like, hey, this is a party. Was this your first time coming to a match? Or you're like, holy cow, that was fun. You want to keep coming. They do a great job. They need to own that and move forward with their
Right.
with their branding and say, trust us, we are worth watching.
Plant their flag and let's go.
And own it.
Right.
Own it, man.
Neil Armstrong the shit out of this.
Yeah.
Do you have a flag? No flag, no country.
Real quick, we'll go over the Eastern.
I love that I started
the Eastern Conference. I meant to say the Eastern Conference. First to worst: Toronto, NYC, Chicago, Atlanta, Columbus Crew, New York Red Bulls, New England Revolution, right below the drop. Philadelphia Union, Montreal Impact, Orlando City, and DC United bringing up an abysmal year. And guess who starts some of the MLS season next year on March 3rd in here in sunny Orlando, hopefully.
It's Orlando
City versus DC United.
DC United.
Covering out the West, we
Worst
have
teams in the
exactly.
East.
There we go. Covering out the West, first to worst: Portland Timbers, Seattle Sounders, Vancouver Whitecaps, Houston Dynamo, Sporting KC, San Jose Earthquakes all made the playoffs. FC Dallas, Real Salt Lake, Minnesota United FC, Colorado Rapids, and the Galaxy. An abysmal last in the Western Conference.
I kind of called that one.
Yeah. Speaking of Colin, we'll go over our
let's go over
predictions.
predictions. I had said winner of the East and West. I went hometown and said Orlando. That was almost the reverse. We weren't quite the last, but we were close.
Yep.
And I said Seattle Sounders for the West.
I said Toronto and Portland, which I believe was dead on.
I had Toronto and Seattle.
Pretty darn close because Seattle got second.
Yep.
And obviously it was Toronto and Portland. And
Good
Supporter
job, Ferris.
Shield, I said Seattle. Ferris said Toronto. Ron said Seattle. It was Toronto. Good job again, Ferris. And it should be said,
And we were all close.
Toronto by a lot. They had a great season. They were wonderful.
Yeah, they were by far the best team. There's a lot of talk. Are they the best team ever in MLS? Let's not go that far yet. If they win a couple more, then maybe.
There's
but
too much parity in
yet.
MLS to I think.
Which is funny because with all the parity, we still had the two teams that were in the finals last year still make it to the finals this year.
True, but then they reversed roles. The other one won.
Yeah.
And let's see, for MVP, I said Javinko. Ferris.
I said BWP. I was going with Villa, who was actually in the top 5, but I said Bradley Wright Phillips.
I had Sebastian Javinko.
It was neither.
Nope. Diego Valeri takes it home for the season. He was a phenomenal player.
Great, yeah.
He really deserved it.
He was.
Sebastian Javinko
Was
in the
a
finals.
little underrated. I got to say,
I think he was second in the voting, if I'm not mistaken.
and the Italian national team was dumb to not use
Gotta
him.
give him a look.
Especially how things have
Where are
panned
you
out.
right now? You're
Yeah.
sitting at home in the World Cup with us
hanging out with us.
in Ireland.
No, but we're gonna do the
The Netherlands.
We're gonna do the hey, check us out, Cup North America with all these losing club
Yeah,
national.
we're not.
I thought they were legitimately talking about that.
I think they are, which is sad. Just don't.
Yeah, just
don't.
leave it
Just
alone.
don't. Just
Just leave it
sit
alone.
at home.
If you go,
Yeah.
yeah, everybody's got to bring an iPad, get onto the Wi-Fi, sit in the stadium, and watch the World Cup
Right.
in front
That'd
of
be a
those
good
teams
protest.
playing, just out of
Yeah, that'd be a good
man,
protest.
you guys.
I think
You just gave
the
the
thing that-
finger salute.
Yep.
the thing that will stop that is if no one attends. Just don't go.
Yeah,
Just don't. Yeah.
it's ridiculous. Biggest team to miss the playoffs. I said LA Galaxy.
You were right.
Bingo.
Boy,
Especially
not
after
only-
the year they had last
They were
year.
last.
Yeah.
They were awful, guys.
Yep.
They weren't dead last because that was DC United on a minus
Third.
29, but they were minus 22. Not
Third
good.
worst goal differential.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
man, LAFC could come out next year and be better than the Galaxy by far.
Yeah, you may see some moves from the Galaxy in the offseason because I don't think they like
sure.
being last there. So you may see that thing change a little
You're
bit.
going to see a bunch
Who'd you-
off season.
Who'd you pick, Ferris?
FC Dallas, which was true as well. They finished right below the drop. They had an abysmal last half of the year,
Yeah.
and
You and I both right on that
yeah,
one.
we were both right.
I was more right, just like I am about the FIFA calendar.
Well, here he goes. And then Ron had Sporting KC.
Yep. And they actually made the playoffs, which was amazing.
Playoffs?
Amazingly disappointed. Disappointing
We all
for
went with
me.
teams in the West. Why is that? Is because there's more parity in the West? I think there is. I mean, look at the point difference and how close everybody
Well,
was, opposed to that very large gap.
There
in
was
the East.
something about last year's LA Galaxy to me with the moves they made that I just didn't.
Yeah,
I did
smart.
not think that they were going to be better.
Oh,
I
turns out you were right.
I wouldn't have seen them ending below Colorado, Minnesota. I mean, just wow, crazy.
And there've already been some moves off season.
Herbalife not doing too good.
We can talk about that later, obviously, in more MLS.
They finished lower than Minnesota United, and Minnesota United had a terrible run, with the exception of about a third of the way through the season where they won like
A few games
3 or
there.
4 games in a row, all off the back of anyone but Kevin Molino.
And I believe Adrian Heath got his son back.
Did he?
He did in the
Yes.
offseason.
Yeah,
You're
in the
absolutely correct. He
offseason.
did. He did.
And we'll do a pod. We'll talk about it obviously as we get closer when all the drafts and everything has happened. But there have been some moves, expansion drafts.
Arlington
and,
to Hagby's. Whew, that's
That's a
We just signed the NASL MVP of last year for
Yes.
Miami FC. I don't remember the guy's name offhand.
Yep.
Yep. Kaká retires officially.
Kaká announced
but-
retirement.
You
Yeah.
know, thank you for everything, Kaká. But I mean,
yeah.
that's
An ambassador to
oh my
the
gosh.
yeah.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of some movement, and when everything is the dust has settled on all the movement, we'll do another little follow up.
Will Columbus stay in Columbus? I really hope so.
Who knows?
I don't know. Their ticket sales are just not supporting that team, and if you're going to stay in Columbus, you're going to need to see the revenue. If you don't see the revenue, you're going to be gone.
I thought Don Garber gave a very interesting interview at halftime of the MLS final, I believe it was, with Taylor Twellman, I think. He's on ESPN.
Yeah.
And I thought he was very well spoken on the topic. I know they were kind of corporate company answers there, but he did say a lot of things that were accurate. And what you were saying, Ron, they don't as great as a team that has been there from the start has been, the support hasn't necessarily been there financially to back them. And
The support has been there.
the support
Not-
has.
yes.
Yes, the financial aspect has not been there from sponsors, from ticket sales,
Yeah,
from
to be
this
clear,
and that.
not the supporters,
And
yeah.
unfortunately, we are in a day of age, and sports teams are a business. They're their own corporate business entity. So if you don't make any money,
You got to go somewhere
have
else.
to-
And
yeah,
to be honest,
sad.
you're in Columbus.
I'm partial to Columbus.
I'm happy for you, but
Yeah.
you're in Columbus.
Well, but it's not like a. It's not a San Diego. It's not a like.
It's not a major market. It just isn't.
No, I mean it sucks because it's
Nashville's
one of the original.
football market. Is
Nashville's a way bigger market, and Nashville's not a big market.
Well, no, okay, you bring up a good point though. Part of my problem with it too is the move to Austin. That
Why had a third team? In the
doesn't
MLS
seem
then?
smart to me. You just said Nashville, sweet. If I was the person that wanted to make money, I'd take that franchise and move
Cincinnati.
it to Louisville or Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, within the state, that'd be where you go. But also, Louisville just won the USL. They're doing great. Cincinnati, another one. Sacramento. I mean, obviously, MLS is but Austin is an odd choice. For those who don't know, Orlando City was a USL club, the Aztecs, in Austin. They were there for a year, too, and determined that like there was no, because American football was so big and there were already 2 clubs in the state of Texas, though it's a big state, they sought elsewhere for their demographic, and that's when they decided to come to Orlando. Will Austin? I don't know. So you know what I'm saying? Like if it sucks, it sucks. Columbus is one of the first MLS clubs, but if you told me it was going to Sacramento, if you told me it was going to Cincinnati, if you told me it was going to Louisville, I would at least go, man. But those are some really cool, like Sacramento FC, Louisville. These are some great clubs. So if they got an MLS franchise, they support the area well. But I don't know about Austin. I mean,
Austin is the second fastest growing city in the entirety of the U.S. for the past 3 years running. The only one that beats it this year is Charlotte, North Carolina. So Austin is a growing.
Austin's growing. You said it. You only beat it, Charlotte, North Carolina. Well, you've got was it NASL club, now USL club with North Carolina that would like to grow.
Statistically wise, though, I'd be curious to see, and I don't know these offhand, but how well do Houston and FC Dallas do?
Houston's empty a lot. There's a lot of
Yeah.
So why?
Yeah, why add to? It's like the oversaturation of the sport in that.
Oddly enough, if you
the only people really guilty of that is LA.
But if you told me that Houston,
the Galaxy have made themselves a name brand in MLS,
sure, but now you're going to put another LA team in there and oversaturate the market.
But what's good about that team though is they have star power backing it.
So did Chivas for a while.
No, but they are
Will
doing this
Ferrell-
different than Chivas. They're
No,
doing
like,
it very different.
Will Ferrell does he own the team or is he partially?
He's a partial owner.
So what? Look at all the stars that were trying to get Miami going, and that all went belly
let's
up.
talk about the
They have a
fact
lot of issues
that
down
the
there in
Charlotte
Miami, though.
Panthers, Carolina Panthers are up for sale.
Right, he's up, man.
P. Diddy wants to get it.
P. Diddy.
I love P. Diddy. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Sorry, but
I
what-
do.
Who's
me
the other
think
guy? I won't stand for the national anthem.
Kaepernick.
Kaepernick wants in on
No
that
kidding.
too.
I didn't see that.
And for those of us from North Carolina, we're like, hey, Michael Jordan,
Right.
get another. Come on, buddy.
George,
Yep.
Put a group together and get. Heck yeah, dude. We love some MJ down home, so that'd be great.
The Charlotte Bobcats or the
No,
Washington
they're the Hornets
Wizards
again now.
or the Hornets?
Are they
now?
Hornets
And
this
he,
year
but
again?
he brought he brought the Bobcats back.
That's right. Yeah.
The Hornets moved to Louisiana. They became the Pelicans, and the Hornets went back to North Carolina.
Yeah.
It's so. Look, okay, just
don't move to Austin.
No, full disclosure.
Nothing against Austin.
NFL,
Something to
NBA, MLS, the franchise system, so weird. That whole thing, because you know what could happen. So Columbus moves to Austin. It struggles. Only to have like Houston, let's say, has the same problem selling tickets, and their club moves to Cincinnati. Like that's the kind of crap that would happen,
exactly.
and not make any sense.
Just
and,
so ass backwards that you're just like, what? the
yeah,
hell?
I mean that's the weird world we live in. And obviously, if any of you listening are Columbus supporters, save the crew. I mean, it's not about like.
but save the crew by going to the games.
Well, no, they are. That's the. I mean,
But go to the games and spread it because. Yeah, I think we said on the pod. I went to a game.
Well, you know what's sad?
Like last year, and the crowd was not good. But I had a great time, and I know I don't see it every
Talking
day.
about
I know
marketing,
it's an
though.
old stadium, but
Ron brought up marketing earlier.
it's a
I would
good
guarantee you that in Columbus, the knowledge of Columbus Crew is greater because of this year's Save the Crew campaign.
Probably.
That
and we won't have Dos Acero anymore.
If you did the Crew stayed next year, it was like, well, we'll give it one more
Yeah,
go.
you'd almost.
I bet you'd have a bigger ticket sales. Huge. I don't know.
A marketing ploy all along.
Yeah. What? Guys, they were duping us.
The earth is flat. That tennis ball picture was amazing.
Close up with the tennis ball. They've been lying to us the whole time. The tennis ball's flat. Oh, man.
We just lost
all the flat earthers.
earthers.
There we go. It's okay.
And I will
You
say,
guys can keep walking till you fall off the edge.
correct.
Yeah.
As the official science nerd of the podcast, good riddance.
Yeah.
The earth is flat, guys.
Oh, man.
Seriously. Why don't we see a shadow the right way? Piss off.
That's our new podcast.
Piss off now.
Piss Off Now, the anti-flat earther podcast.
I just don't. Okay. You hit the nerve. The fact is, clown shoes, mother.
Us bucket.
Thank you. You don't get a choice about believing in science. It's fact. It's just fact. It's like saying,
Ron, are you telling me that my plastic bookcase over there is actually wood? Because I call it plastic.
no, it's damn wood.
I don't believe that. It's your fact, not mine. That's plastic.
That's such bull. That stuff drives me to drink.
So sorry.
I don't believe in climate change. Well, good for you, because it's not whether you believe in it or not. It just is. Humans don't breathe. I don't believe that I breathe. You're a clown. All right, I'm done.
I love it.
The science nerd has
He's over
spoken.
there with the backwards hat, drinking a beer, cursing at the science nerds or whatever. I don't
Yeah.
love. Oh, it's great.
Yeah. Now, what I can tell you about science is I was very happy to see that in this new Star Wars, no one took a jump to light speed within the atmosphere of a planet because it had been established in canon that a gravity well of the planet would not allow hyperdrive to work. Now, while that was the expanded universe and that is no longer canon, but I'm just saying I was happy to see that that did not happen in the new Star
Although
Wars
the
movie.
whole tracking through light speed,
That was dropped in Rogue One as a Easter egg for something that the Empire was working on. It's all connected. It's all connected.
Silent night, goalless night.
You can join us for our Christmas Carol podcast, our Science and Star Wars podcast, our FU The Earth Ain't Flat podcast.
Sterling bells.
Sterling bells.
But probably the best one is going to be our Soccer Christmas
It's
Carol
Christmas time in Man City.
podcast. Ding-a-ling.
Oh, Crystal P, oh, Crystal P, thy goals are now flowing.
Oh, jeez. This is the dumbest episode ever.
We gotta go.
We gotta go. All
We
right.
out.
Listen to us. You can find us on Twitter at Brewtiful Game. We're on Facebook. Go to the website, thebrutifulgame.com. Hey, leave us a review on iTunes or Stitcher. If you do, take a picture. Hit us up on any of our social media or drop us an email at thebrutifulgame@gmail.com with a screen grab of it. We will get a sweet koozie out to you, Brewtiful Game
I'm
koozie.
slacking on 2 people. I'm sorry. I
Oh,
was
yeah,
out
we
of
got
town.
a couple left koozies and magnets to get out to you. If you go to our website, brewtifulgame.com, you'll see we got some sweet T-shirts.
Check us out
And
on
they,
Untappd.
yeah, they come in gray, they come in purple for Disney Orlando fans, and red also as
Get
well.
one of them red ones. I don't even have one of those yet.
Yeah, we unite for Arsenal and Man U. We got to get some red ones. Yeah. I think that about wraps it up. Thanks for joining us with the next episode. It seems we're going to be doing our I say our tradition. We've only done it once, but our Boxing Day.
This will seal
special.
its fate as
Yep.
tradition.
So Boxing Day special. Ron will be up in Pennsylvania at the time, so you've got to
I'm
go
gonna call in.
Here's what you got to do.
Uh-oh.
You definitely have got to find what's that elf beer that's so big in PA. That's got to be one of your
right.
Christmas beers.
The Trogs beer.
The Trogs Elf, Mad Elf.
Mad Elf.
So
Like it.
are we gonna do this again? 3 Christmas beers. We did last time. 3 Christmas beers.
Yes, I'm off
Ron,
that day, so I'm good to go.
You got to get 3 Christmas beers.
Okay, I can handle it.
All right, you got to get.
That's
and
gonna make
see-
6 Christmas
See if you
beers.
can find stuff.
I can add.
That's
Because I'm a science nerd.
partridge in a pear.
if you can try to find stuff that's not here.
Right.
Like
Got it.
So the Mad. Although I think Mad Elf might be here, but I won't touch that. If it's like Pennsylvania, whatever.
I don't think you're going to find Trogs down here.
I don't think so either. There's some that I was surprised to see from PA that are down here. So you grab some stuff. We'll have some Christmas beers. We'll get some delicious pies from the Proper Pie Company. Tune in. We'll record immediately following the Boxing Day games. And if everybody listening, have a happy holidays and a Merry Christmas.
And a safe one, please.
Yeah. Take care of yourselves and wrap yourself a delicious craft beer to open for yourself under the tree.
And Blake, congratulations on the
Yes,
addition to your
congratulations.
family.
You have a
Thanks,
beautiful
man.
family. Congratulations, man.
All right. Cheers, y'all. Love the beer. Cherish the game. The Brewtiful Game.
Silent.
The only thing worse than Ferris singing is his opinion on the MLS soccer.
Goalless night.
Where's Eddie? He normally eats these damn things.